And in this context, it's working with nature, but it's working with your own inner nature, the nature of oneself.
Isn't it really the thing? Maybe I've spent 3 weeks now, which is not enough to know about Findhorn, such a big place. But isn't it the thing maybe about Findhorn and what happened here in the 60s to bring all of this together, being green, but as well having a spiritual path, living in a community, like another way of living, not in an anonymous city. And there are many things, I'm sure I forget some things. There's also arts, creativity.
There's economics as well. You know, a big part of spirituality in our modern problem is how to exchange energy between people. So we even create our own currency, so that we exchange the energy between us, instead of it going off to some third party and then maybe going to Iraq or whatever it is, supporting a lot of these big industrialized global things that we don't support. We're not trying to withdraw back, but there needs to be a really realistic way in which you create a viable, creative society. So we could play music, but we also play with exchanging energy or money or bartering, and then it's the same thing. You know, you're co-creating. Co-creation with nature means working with all of the things and the very complex things of our community life. Not ours, but the community of humans on the planet. It's quite clear we're not very happy with one another a lot. One of our major contributions is conflict facilitation, because we are learning to live together, and we are wanting not to be aggressive and blame other people. So I have to learn to communicate with you. If there is a problem between us somehow, there is a solution. And maybe all I need to do is just recognize you are different to me. So these type of communities really help to help people understand themselves and their psyche, their soul, and then the other. And how can you, if you're wanting to sort of be part of nature, then I have to be part of you. No? So the communities that we are creating are very complex, but at the same point simple. It's not trying to create vast bureaucracies and standards. There's an individual part of the community, but there's also a collective part of the community. But it's important your individuality is, in a sense, true to yourself, not to a belief system. And then we also need to try and sense, all together, there's a field. There is an energy created by us. There's an energy created by all of humans. But most humans don't sense and see themselves as that collective. They don't see the results of their actions on the planet. And here we're trying to say, every action you take has a repercussion way back to the source. And the source, of course, is the earth, which is giving us ourselves, in a sense. We are growing out of the earth. But it's also giving us all the resources.
So during this 40 years long journey in Findhorn, being in and out sometime, what kind of positions have you had here in the foundation?
In the initial stages, I was very much just involved in the, you could say, the physical infrastructure. Being born on a farm, I'm a very practical person. I can mend anything, I can build things. So that's what we did for many years. And some just started out building simple sheds, but then it started gardenings. And then over the years, then I also at the same time, I was an artist. So I was practicing pottery, and also I'm a dancer, or I was a dancer. And we used to have a theatre company, and so there was lots of music at the time, and I was one of the lead dancers. So as I grew through the community, and then we started to do workshops, and we invented the workshops and all the tools, the group discovery and the sacred dances and the tools that we share with people. And that's myself and a group of friends all doing that together. And then as we grow up and we become workshop leaders. We don't know what that was, but that's what we invent.
Mm-hmm.
And then the community becomes more complex, and we start to work with self-governance and deep democracy. And at one point I find myself saying, I want to be the focalizer, which is like the managing director, and becoming that for many years. And then in that period, it was a time when we started to look at village and living sustainably. We were living in caravans. They are costing a lot of money to heat, and they are not ecological. So in the early 80s, we start to look at, okay, how can we co-create with nature? How can we build healthy homes? We set up a whole set of criteria. We build the homes. And then all of a sudden we realize, we need some electricity. We need to develop a wind park. We are creating a lot of shit. We need to deal with that. So we create ecological waste treatment plants. And then we say, we're not growing enough food. We need community-supported agriculture. And all of these things I keep supporting, and I am a shareholder. Whenever I get a little bit of money, I try and put it into our providential society. So I'm a shareholder in the windmills, and etc., etc. And then as I grow, I realized that my work became at one point quite worldwide. I used to travel a lot and teach, so I became independent of the foundation, so they don't have to support me. I can support myself. And then when I come back, I realize that I can still continue my work, but they don't need to be responsible for me. So while I'm a founder of the foundation, I'm now an independent member and live happily along with maybe 1,000 other people in the region that are part of this collective.
And that's the time where it's maybe important to say that you live almost in the very center of the community. Being independent, that doesn't mean you live somewhere in Edinburgh.
Oh, no.
Or you are physically, you live in the community.
Yeah, right in the middle of it, you could say, where it began. But the community, one of its phenomena is that many people choose to live here and then go and work outside and teach. And so they might be teaching dance or therapy or conflict, some type of facilitation. There's a lot of people who move, so our influence into the world, and then of course we have a United Nations connection, and we work with UNITAR, particularly with programs on sustainable development and environmental issues. We have consultancy status through the Global Eco-Village Network, which is a network of thousands of eco-villages. Now we are in a sense that from the 60s, when we had all these dreams, if you actually look, I go, my goodness, we've manifested it all. All the things that we wanted to do. We didn't know what we wanted in the sense of the detail, but we did want to create communities that were sustainable, both emotionally and spiritually, etc. And all of a sudden, here it is. And then we find that we are so, as the spiritual movement grew, the environmental movement grew. At one point, they were almost separate. In the 70s, there was a little bit of like, you are too much rainbows, and we are working with the real thing, with wind, with solar energy or something.
Yeah.
But then, maybe 10, 15 years ago, all of a sudden, they start to come together, and major philosophers like Lovelock and the Gaia theory. Gaia is a living, intelligent system.
Gaia meaning the earth.
The earth, the old Greek word for the goddess, in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we're starting to see that the spiritual reality is infused within the sort of, you could say, environmental reality. And then recognizing that humans are affecting this planet substantially, to the point that they may even destroy their own life support system. And that's where we are now. But at the same point we are saying, no, we are intelligent enough again. We can work with this. But it takes us to recognize that the earth is primary and humans are secondary. They're a byproduct, you could say, but we're a very intelligent byproduct. But if the earth does not become our sole focus to maintain, then evolution will take its course.
Yeah.